Welcome to this edition of Resilience Toolbox. We'll be speaking with Doug Parker, the CEO of Thin Blue Defend. Doug's retired from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation with over 40 years of investigative experience. And over his career, he's investigated numerous police officer use of force cases involving the death of a suspect by law enforcement. As a result of this experience, Doug developed Thin Blue Defend, a web-based and mobile app which officers use to collect data from a critical incident in anticipation of criminal and/or civil litigation. Doug, welcome to Resilience Toolbox.
David, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you, sir.
So let's find out a little bit about how you came to create the app. Tell us a little bit about yourself and why did you see the need for such an app?
Yes, I grew up in a law enforcement family. Dad was chief of police back home in Clayton County. As far as working with the GBI, a lot of use of force cases since retiring, working with attorneys who represent officers who are usually charged in the performance of their duties with investigating those types of use of force cases for them.
Doug, talk a little bit about the difference this can make on a case. How does this affect the outcome of use of force cases?
Yeah, initially from a case that I worked in South Georgia where I'm doing the forensic interview with an officer before that was developed, and I'm asking those cognitive questions, what were you thinking when you did this, when the suspect did this? And he didn't know what to really say or answer the questions. He wasn't really thinking of those cognitive questions to tell his attorney. And so after about the third, when I asked him a question, he said, I didn't think, I said, why didn't you tell me that or tell your attorney that earlier? He said, well, I didn't think it was that important. So that's when it went off in light bulb and said, we've got to have a way for these officers to be able to tell their attorney in that cognitive process what they were thinking, what they were feeling, what they were smelling, what they were hearing through that whole process of using that force.
Talk a little bit about the difference this makes in a case where they're, dealing with litigation. Like, how does this actually affect the outcome of a use of force case?
Yes, we've already had cases to where the app or the process was used, and we actually have a no bill in Georgia. Officers can testify on their behalf in a grand jury, and in that one instance, the grand jury decided not to indict the officer based on what the officer was able to tell those grand jurors from the very start to the very finish, what he was thinking, again, feeling, perceiving the entire time. And I've also had other cases where so far we've used the app with officers, been able to talk to an investigating agency, and based on that interview, the investigating agency said, well, I'm not going to charge them right now. Now I still have to present it to the district attorney, but it's resulted in at least no charges at this time on those cases.
In addition to what the app basically does, what other features are included?
Well, again, it goes through all kind of categories as to how did the weather affect your decision to use force? How did the barking dog, over to the side affected your decision to use force? How did the crowd gathering or people yelling at you, what the suspect did, how the suspect was dressed, what was posed to the officer, and again, what was that officer perceiving? It may have been a cell phone, but again, the officer, it was dark, couldn't see, thought it was a weapon. And then you're able to use these categories with an audio record button or typing in text, which able to record those perceptions, those things that you were perceiving at that time.
Doug, if someone wants to learn more, how can they get in touch? And is there a demo of the app they can try?
Yes, there's a 4-minute video on our website, thinbluedefend.com. We have the video walks you through as to about a 4-minute how the app works, and then from there, there's contact information with either phone or email to get in contact with us.
I understand there's a discount available for this app. How does that work?
Use the promo code DAVID, D-A-V-I-D, and that will get 20% off for a yearly purchase.
What kinds of agencies are using the app?
Yes, had numerous entire departments. The chiefs and sheriffs are realizing this not only helps the officer, because not every case is a shooting case. This is for really any use of force, and they're realizing, well, if our officers use this and then go and fill out our use of force report, we're getting a better report from the very start, which helps later on down the road, especially in civil litigation.
Doug Parker of Thin Blue Defend, thank you for being with us on Resilience Toolbox and for creating the Thin Blue Defend app.
Thank you, David, and also for what you do, because we're realizing that these officers, not only after the incident, need some assistance after that also.